Hi friends, welcome to Accidentally Awesome. This is a new YouTube channel and we're going to be talking about being awesome with ADHD because, we are actually all awesome. I'm setting this channel up in the hope to inspire other people to embrace their awesomeness, the things that make them unique with their ADHD. A lot of the time we hear how hard ADHD is, and don't get me wrong, it is hard having ADHD, but it's also really awesome. It's and most of the time we don't even know how awesome we are because we're just ourselves. So as well as inspiring other people, I hope to showcase some other ladies perhaps who are also awesome with ADHD and interview them. So, in the spirit of equality, I'm going to interview myself for this first one, and you can get an idea of what I'm hoping to do. So my first question to myself is, when was I diagnosed? Well, strangely enough, I was only diagnosed a month ago, in February of 2020. I had suspicions for a while that I was ADHD. Both my kids are, and my daughter especially is ADHD combined. So while I was reading about her, what it's like for girls to have ADHD, the signs and symptoms that they show, I started looking at women with ADHD and did some sort of online test or checklist and sat there gobsmacked thinking, that's me. I've got ADHD too. And after an initial period of anger, I suppose, that this hadn't been picked up until I had personally picked it up, I decided to do something about it. So I'd always realised there was something different, other about myself. Had anxiety and depression all through my life, and now I can look back and actually see that that has been caused by trying to deal with undiagnosed ADHD, which isn't that uncommon for women my age. I'm going to be 50 this year. So after I got over my anger, put that aside, I made an appointment with a psychiatrist for when my kids had started back at school. We're in Australia, by the way, and got myself evaluated and got my medication really quickly. I'm on a stimulant medication. I don't think we need to go into the ins and outs of that at the moment. And it made an immediate difference to my life. So I chose to be medicated. I know a lot of people don't. Personal choice. I may come off the medication at some point. I don't know. This is a very new experience to me, but it made a massive difference to me and to my life. And that was one of my questions for myself. Do I take medication? Yes, I do. And yes, it does help me. And I know this particularly because the last week or so, I have another channel on YouTube, which I'll link to if you want to look at it. I usually post 2 or 3 times a week. And last week I was just like, no, don't have it in me. Run out of spoons. Can't be bothered. The usual things that I would feel with ADHD. And I spoke to a friend of mine who also has ADHD, and she said to me, have you changed your meds since your initial dosage? And I hadn't, because it hadn't occurred to me that I should be increasing them, even though the psychiatrist had told me to. So today, increased my dosage within line with what he told me to, and bingo, here I am, finally making this video that I've been wanting to do for quite a while. So that's definitely proof that it works for me. As I say, I've got 2 kids with ADHD, and my son has also got autism. So we're a real mixed bag in the family. My husband is a very hard-working man, also has his own health issues, which we all have to deal with from time to time. And yeah, live in Sydney, Australia. Moved here from Scotland 17 years ago now. Wow, it's a long time. And done a few things since I've came here. I was in marketing for quite a long time. And then after I had my kids, basically the wheels fell off for me. And I think for a lot of women, this is what happens. They cope up until a certain point. And for me, just having the kids, yeah, it was too much. So I didn't go back to work. I worked part-time for myself. I'm a writer. So I work part-time for a magazine and do 5 articles a month for them and do their e-communications as well. And recently I have started, as I said, YouTube channel and also an Etsy shop, which has been quite fun. And I really don't think either of them would have been possible without this diagnosis, which is another reason why I want to get this out there and speak to other people in a similar situation who might be thinking, maybe I have ADHD too. Maybe you do. Get it looked at. It's worth having it. So how does ADHD affect me? Well, before taking my medication, as I said, the wheels fell off after having the kids. I managed before that, but having that extra level of responsibility and things to do, even though I love my kids dearly, really made me struggle. I thought things would get better when they started school, but the first year that my eldest started school, I basically had burnout by December. Husband said, right, I'm booking you into a hotel, go away for a few days, look after yourself. And that did help, probably because we had summer holidays after it. And then, of course, we had COVID, which didn't help anyone. So, yeah, that was one of the things I noticed. And my psychiatrist said that for many women, having kids is a huge catalyst for things just to be too much. For me personally, I was finding it really hard to get started on projects, and nothing huge either, you know, it was just my normal day-to-day work, which once you've started writing magazine articles and know what you're doing, it's not a difficult job. Certainly certain people are more suited to it than others, but it's not a hard job. And it's actually a very pleasurable job because I get to speak to some amazing people in our community. So I do really, really enjoy it, but I was finding it really hard to do. Our house has become very cluttered. And again, I've been looking at things and going, oh, yeah, I need to get that sorted out. And just not having the energy to do it, and partly the time because, you know, kids drop off, pick up, do some work, other things in between. But really that's just an excuse. Again, the burnout issue is a big one. And yeah, I was trying to help out a friend last year do some marketing work. And we've worked together for years and we know each other really well and have a good working relationship when we do things. But I had to give it up because I was exhausted. I had taken on too much. I was struggling to learn the programs that she wanted to use, which in themselves weren't difficult, but on top of everything else, I just couldn't cope. And I lasted 6 weeks. Yeah, quite embarrassing really. But, you know, I discussed it with my friend. We both agreed that it wasn't working and why it wasn't working. Everything was done on good terms. And of course, we're still talking, we're good friends. But I was really sad that I couldn't help her out when she needed it. I was really sad that this opportunity had to pass me by because I couldn't cope. I'm an educated woman. I've got a degree. I've got postgrad. I have done courses to learn how to write magazines. I've written 5 novels. I should be able to do this, so why couldn't I? And that was 6 months before I learned I had ADHD. So perhaps now things would be different, but I'm not going to put her in that situation again, so we'll never find out. But that's probably the negative. It is the negative side of ADHD for me. The positive side of ADHD, well, there's so many. I'm an extremely creative person. As I said, I've written 5 books, 5 different novels, and absolutely love creative writing. I'm a really good interviewer. When I do my magazine articles, I get the people who have interviewed me coming back, loving the articles I've written about them, and made so many friends from doing what I do because I have empathy. And as people with ADHD, we have empathy. We can read the room. We can understand what people are saying and pick up on undercurrents and know when to push a little bit and know when to pull back. So empathy is a massive thing, and it helps me hugely in my job. The creativity, and I think for me personally, I'm quite fearless, which sounds a weird thing to say. You know, I didn't think anything really of moving from Scotland to Australia when we came. I was just like, well, it's not really a big deal. When most of my friends and family were like, whoa, what are you doing? I mean, I came out with my husband. I wasn't here on my own, but even so, most people saw it was a huge deal. I've started my own business before. Didn't think it was a huge deal. Wrote and published my first book on a bet. Yep, on a bet. I was bet to enter a competition about writing. I wrote the first 3 chapters, the synopsis, submitted it, didn't win the competition, but got great feedback, and just was like, yeah, well then, why not? Give it a go. I've started a YouTube channel, as I said, started an Etsy channel. I've started another YouTube channel here, I'm talking to you. And I'm not worried about things going wrong, because things go wrong. What's the worst that can happen? You know, I take this channel down. I get a little bit embarrassed by something that I might say, but that's highly unlikely. I'm pretty good that way. And I try and encourage this with my kids. I tell them that their ADHD is their superpower. You know, they can think outside the box. They can make connections that other people can't see. My son loves games and is recently learning how to code, and he was struggling because he didn't understand how the teacher was teaching. My husband sat down with him yesterday, went through the program, and it clicked. And I know now that he is going to be able to see what to do and take it that much further because of the way his head works. My daughter, as well as doing coding, loves it. You know, I made a flower dance today, Mummy. It was cool. And she is so creative, especially with her language. She sort of takes after me in that way. And I'm like, you know, this is your superpower. Yes, there's things that are hard about this, but you're you, and nobody's going to have what you have, and you need to embrace that and love that. Life hacks. Well, this was actually hard for me to think about because I've only known I've got ADHD for a month. I've only had it confirmed, and I've obviously had it all my life. I'm nearly 50, and I've kind of managed up until now. But I've been doing some journaling and trying to write down things when I think about them, when they occur to me. And one of the things I've realised is that exercising for me first thing is a must do. And I'm not talking about going and running 5 kilometres, because who wants to do that at my age? So I get up in the morning, get the kids sorted out for breakfast, get on my active wear and take the dog out. And we have a lovely walk, and it's fresh air, and it's nice and cool enough in the mornings at the moment. Being Australia, it's damn hot here in the summer. And that sort of gets my endorphins going and sets me up for the day. I feel great after I've done that. So that's one thing I think is good to do. I write lists. Yep, I'm one of those people. I've got lists for everything. And I find that this helps me so much that that's why I've started my Etsy shop. My Etsy shop is all about printable planners and lists and meal plans and grocery lists and decluttering and morning routine and afternoon routine and things like that for kids, and chore charts and everything. Because I think with ADHD, we're great, we're smart, but our brains don't necessarily work in a linear process. So sometimes having a list of something is what we need, just to jolt us, to remind us when we do have a bit of distraction coming in, or we are tired and need to step away from something after a while, that we can go back and know exactly what it is that we have to do. Or we don't have to remember at all. You know, I've got sheets to do morning and evening routines for my kids, because being as they are, they love a routine. And I've also got chore charts, and I'm going to start using them with them soon. I've only just put all these together, and I think it'll be great for all of us. It takes that mental load off you, because you can't remember everything. Your brain doesn't work that way. I mean, even neurotypical people, their brain doesn't necessarily work that way. But for us ADHD people, it can be even more difficult. So lists is a huge one. Getting things prepped the night before is also a handy one for me. I make sure I have a list of, you know, and I don't overload myself. I try and do 3 things a day. 1 for work, 1 for me, 1 for the house. And the thing for me might be the walk. It might be having to make an appointment for something. The work thing might be a YouTube video, or it might be an article or an interview or something like that I'm doing. I've also found that I need to prep dinner really early. This is just my hack, but I find that by the time dinner time comes around, I'm done. I'm done for the day. It's my daily burnout time. The kids are home, they're wanting me, I'm helping them with things or picking them up and taking them to activities, and I'm just done. I don't have the energy or the inclination, because my medication suppresses my appetite somewhat. I don't have the inclination to make anything, so I've been trying to remember to prep things early, and then it doesn't become such a drama for me, such a drag. So yeah, that's my hacks with you. If I think this is all that I have to chat to you about today, but I'm sure I'll maybe do another one of these as time goes on and talk a bit more about myself and my ADHD journey as I learn more about how it's affecting me. But I really hope to connect with you out there. So if you've enjoyed it, hit the subscribe down there, press like, do a thumbs up, share it with friends, and let me know what you'd like to find out about, because this is for you and for me. You know, this isn't a selfish thing. I want us all to share and know how we're doing and how we can do better for ourselves, how we can lift each other up, because we are awesome. We might be accidentally awesome, but we're still awesome with ADHD. So I'm going to sign off. It's been good chatting to you, and I really hope you enjoy this. If you think you'd like to be interviewed, yes, stick a message in the comment. I'll get in touch somehow. And yeah, have a great day. See you later, guys. Bye.